who is the duck stamp, which lose millions of acres of wetland habitat. You've got interesting creative artists like Rob McBroom, who are trying to, his take is add more eccentric art. Maybe that will bring in some new interests. But can you tell us a little bit about what's the service doing to think about your approach to the duck stamp program, and how can you re-energize the popularity of the program, given how important it is?
So now what they've done is they've taken the duck stamp contest on the road. It has been originally housed in DC, and now they're taking it on the road. This past year they had it out in Las Vegas. Next year it's going to be at Tuxet National Research Lab out in Maryland. So you are going to be seeing it in other areas. It may come up here one year. It may be at festivals. They are going to be taking it on the road. So they are doing a total different approach to it, being in different places around the country. So people can see it and have a better audience to it and bring more attractions to it. So they are going that route.
Well, that last question makes me think of all of the television I watch, which is basically reality-based shows, The Deadliest Catch and this, that, or the other thing. It seems to me that you could have a television program built around, there's enough drama in this. You could actually have a show which culminates annually in the award. So I don't know if that's a possibility, but something I would watch.
I was wondering, Nancy, do you know when they are judging the entries, is it a blind entry in terms of whose work it is? I know they have numbers, but I'm thinking about this in terms of women and the minimal amount of women.
Yeah, it's totally blind. In fact, the year that I won, it's a good little story. They called me up, and they had all of the judges congratulate me, and one of them, she said she was Romy Perkins. I said, Romy, what are you doing there? She was from the Perkins family from Orvis, which is in my town. I had no idea she was a judge, and she didn't vote for mine, but that's how blind it is. I kind of wondered what happened, whether all the people in the room thought it was rigged. No, and there have been women submitting since I was in, and good artists too. I think there are more now, and the fact that you're seeing other women win, it's just percentages, by the percentage of women versus men who are entering.
Thank you.
I have a question about the junior duck stamp program. Do these participants kind of stumble into it like some of those artists did, or is there an effort to coordinate with schools and art programs so that kids who are interested in art are really aware of this and the time frames, and art teachers know about it and that sort of thing?
It is a program that is put out through the schools and through homeschool programs. So every child in the schools and through homeschool can have a chance to participate. And it's from kindergarten through grades 12. Okay, and they all submit, and it's kind of through the science program and the art. What they do is they learn about the species. They have to do a science project on it first. Then they do a draft on paper before they can actually start drawing the artwork. Okay, and then, so it's like almost a year-long process. The contest in DC is usually in April. So the artwork comes to me in February, because my deadline is March 15th. So I get the artwork in February. I start judging it like early beginning of March. Okay, they have their certificates back to them by the beginning of April with their ribbons. And each child is a winner, no matter who it is, whatever.
Are you the sole judge for the region?
For New Hampshire,
in
in New Hampshire I am. Not all the other states. They all have different coordinators. But for New Hampshire I am, and we're looking for somebody to take New Hampshire on, maybe the Nature Conservancy. Because what it is if we can get somebody back in New Hampshire, it was Fish and Game before. What it is if we can get somebody to take it back on, the children will be able to go to a place where the contest is actually happening and see their artwork actually judged. Where now it's down in Hadley, the children don't come down to us.
Can I say
Okay.
something?
Sure.
I actually was a judge for the junior duck stamp in Vermont. And what really, really shocked me was how much more artistically excellent the younger grades were in their it was a sense of design that they had that was so much better. There was a certain age, like at 3rd grade, where they got you could tell they got self-conscious about what they were drawing and wanted it to look real, and it got very stiff. And even though maybe the 12th graders would win, we did things like made t-shirts out of some of the designs from the younger grades. They were fabulous. I would have loved to have had one of those as the winners, but but it was just so obvious that they get the creativity kind of squeezed out of them by feeling that they need to make it look correct and not just playing with it. Anyway, I just thought that was really, really interesting.
So, are you still submitting paintings every year?
I only submitted once after the 3-year hold, and I really didn't want to win because I didn't want to give up another 1.5 years to doing duck stamps, and I wanted to go on with my art.
And is there a fee for entering? Usually there is in most
I don't remember.
contests.
Yes.
I don't
Yes,
remember.
there is.
Yeah.
It's $200.
Wow.
I'm not sure was there one I did?
I think so.
Hmm.
It's $200 now. The children's, there's no fee.
Thanks. I think this is a wonderful program, and it's great to hear millions of acres have been set aside for this. Can you talk a little bit about, it's not just buying land, I assume you're also watching water quality and air quality and shoreline. Just talk about what the money is being used for overall. And second question is, my concern is global warming, and how would that affect migratory birds, and is there any art-related things going on to help raise awareness of that?
Yeah, I think, first of all, to my knowledge, and look to the Fish and Wildlife Service expert here, that the duck stamp money itself is being used for land protection and the management of the refuges that the Fish and Wildlife Service has. And additional funds like the Great Bay Resource Protection Partnership used a lot of duck stamp money. But those other portions of protecting water quality and stuff that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is involved with are through their Ecological Services Program, which is a different branch. But they, certainly the service, and then at the state level, the Fish and Game Department and the Department of Environmental Services are the ones charged with looking at species impacts as well as water quality stuff. I had written on one of my cards here, climate change, the impacts are felt first and foremost, in the Arctic, the Antarctic, and the wild and the waterfowl, the big migrations are coming, from, I think of some of our geese coming from the winter on the bay, the Nongame Peninsula, and it's that area is being impacted now. Not only the thawing and drying of permafrost, but now fires in places where there didn't used to be. So it's a race against time, and waterfowl will certainly be impacted.
Annelee, do you want to say more about how the service uses the money?
Well, the service restores wetlands and habitats. They buy land with it. They restored many thousands of acres with it, and without this program, they can't keep it going. So if it were to just get shut down, they need this program to keep it going. So if for every duck stamp that is purchased, they can keep buying more land and keep restoring what they've got.
And I could just tell you a few places where these funds have landed in New Hampshire. We've got several national wildlife refuges in our state. So starting over in the seacoast, the Great Bay National Wildlife Refuge, which is a really wonderful place. It's Great Bay is a very important migratory stopover for many species of waterfowl, including black ducks that John was mentioning. And that refuge was able to be significantly expanded with migratory bird funds. And then up north, we've got the Lake Omega National Wildlife Refuge. If you've never been there, you should go. Lake Omega is really one of the most incredible places in New Hampshire. It's really a great northwood spot. And then as you move over toward the Connecticut River, the western part of the state, we have the Silvio Conti National Fish and Wildlife Refuge, which really has a footprint of the whole Connecticut River watershed. And then there are particular places that are very important for wildlife habitat that have been identified by the service. One of those being the Pondicherry area up in Wakefield and Jefferson, which is an incredible place. Oh, really top 5 place in New Hampshire to go see migratory birds.
And your duck stamp gets you into every refuge at no charge. So if you buy a duck stamp, you don't have to pay entrance to a refuge if they charge to get in.
Did you want to say something? Go.
Yeah, just the other source of money that does come in from duck hunters is most states also have a stamp, and we used to run a stamp contest in New Hampshire. The contest is, there weren't the resources to keep the contest up, but you still pay, $11 for your waterfowl stamp, and that has helped. Always federal programs often require some state matching funds. But I think thinking about the decline in duck hunters, this is a societal wave. This is something that's not going to just turn around somehow. We need to be able to include more people in conservation programs through duck stamps and other methods. There's currently Recovering America's Wildlife Act, which is right now has a number of co-sponsors in the House that would bring additional funds to wildlife conservation beyond those that are just provided through the various hunting and fishing license and excise tax fees. So, we have a big charge to include everybody in wildlife conservation, and there's some opportunities out there. And I think somebody mentioned in the film that people wouldn't pay that much for, I forget what his example was of a frog or whatever, and I'm sitting next to my colleague Mike Marchand, who was our herpetologist before taking over as the Nongame program supervisor, and we're going, oh, no, you're kidding. We could, spotted salamander, one of David Carroll's turtles, I mean, I think we could really, so maybe we'll have a waterfowl and, that other wildlife stamp someday.
We have one more question, and then we'll get down here. Two more questions.
Can you tell us where we buy our duck stamp? I hope.
Oh, yes, we're going to tell you that in a moment.
Thank you.
Is the only money the federal government gets the $15 from the duck stamp, and then the artist gets the royalties for T-shirts and coffee mugs? Is that how it works? Or does the federal government get?
Well, from my standpoint, with the contest, the winner gets 2 sheets of stamps from the federal government, that's it. So the money is made because you have the copyright to the image. So, and because the prints are collectible, that's where the most revenue comes from.
I just want to share an experience. I'm a retired civil engineer and working around the Concord, New Hampshire area. We had a commercial development that we were designing, a shopping center, and lo and behold, there's an endangered species butterfly on the property here in Concord. And that butterfly, I'll always remember, a Kanter blue butterfly. It's on the federal endangered species list, and the response I usually get is, "You gotta be kidding, butterfly?" Well, we had to donate, the developer had to donate so many acres, 10 acres maybe, of his property, had donated to form a butterfly, butterfly, what would you call it?
Preserve.
Yeah. And that butterfly area is still maintained today by a conservation organization, and here's where it gets really silly, but they collect butterfly larvae, eggs, and they bring them back to the laboratory to hatch the butterflies, and then they bring the eggs back out and the butterflies hatch, and that's how they preserve the butterfly. But they also plant various species of plants that the butterfly feeds off of. So they're still operating on the premise that they preserve and expand the butterfly. You can't do anything on that land, but
John could talk for hours about the Kanter blue butterfly, and I'll just say that I think that the recovery of Kanter blues in Concord has been a really great success story. They were on the brink, and it was really the efforts of New Hampshire Fish and Game Department and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and some other partners.
The Conservancy in the beginning, sitting right there, Krista.
That has helped to bring that population back, and it's a really beautiful butterfly. So thank you for the comment there. I want to answer your question, Betsy, which is Annelee actually brought some duck stamps. So if you would like to purchase this year's duck stamp after the film, you are most welcome to do so. You can also buy them from the post office. Is that right?
You can get it from the post office, yeah.
But you should get it here. It'd be nice for her to go home and have you sold some duck stamps. She didn't make me say that, by the way. She was gracious enough to bring it. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. We've got one more film this fall in the film series, October 24th, Sacred Cod. Should be a really interesting movie. We've got some good panelists that we're cooking up for that one. I want to thank our panelists tonight. You did a fantastic job. Thank you very much for joining us. I can't believe nobody asked Nancy if she earned $1 million, but you can do that in the hallway afterwards.
No.
So thank you again. See you next.